Yeah.
You actually got to hit it.
That's what she said. Welcome back to the Unfiltered Sports Weekly. I am your host, Taylor Swift. No.
I don't know why people think she's good looking.
Oh, I think so.
I think she's kind of good.
You
looking.
would.
She's not super hot, but
I don't think she's good looking at all.
but I just
Really?
figured we saw her
I
so
think
much.
Cindy Crawford's good looking. Pamela Anderson's good looking.
But that's your
You know,
age. That's your,
Jenna Jameson is good looking.
well, she was. And
I don't get why people think Taylor Swift is good looking. Now I'll tell you what makes her good looking is all the fucking money she has.
I mean, what is she? She's a billionaire.
You know, but the
a
red
bill- a
lipstick, it just
billionaire?
looks. She looks like a fucking $2 hooker. That's what she looks
Oh,
like.
cab.
I just thought, that we saw her so much during the Super Bowl that she should host our show for us. I mean,
What was
why
that?
not?
11 times? 11 times was the last count.
And we said take the over on that, right?
It was
had
definitely.
better have
definitely-
taken our advice and gone the over on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of advice,
Oh boy.
I have this piece of paper right here. That's jotted down some shit that was said last week.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
On the
And-
show or
on this show, yes, this program right here, Unfiltered Sports Weekly, just a week
Oh,
ago.
jeez.
Yeah,
Oh.
we're gonna go back to the past. St. Joe and the Cab picked the Chiefs
They did.
outright.
Smart.
Outright.
We did.
Now, 2 weeks ago, I think I may have said that you better hope that the 49ers beat the Chiefs or it's going to get lewd up in this motherfucker. Now, St. Joe picked Travis Kelce to be the MVP.
And, I got some comments on that.
Okay. But the motherfucking Cab picked Patrick Mahomes. Now who won the MVP?
Well,
Patrick
Patrick Mahomes won the MVP.
Okay.
But
And the reason
well-
I'm not telling everybody what Beebs picked is he picked the Niners.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did though call the under by
Actually,
a half point.
Hey, I
Trust
got
me.
it.
The gambling guy here took the over and lost by a half point. I bet four things on the Super Bowl. Thank God I didn't parlay them. But about 4 things on the Super Bowl. I won 3 of them and lost 1. And the one I lost was I took the over. I won Mahomes getting the MVP. I won what's her nuts going over on the national anthem, and I won that the Chiefs were outright.
what was the final time on the national anthem?
It was over 87.5 seconds. I can tell you that we timed it.
Excellent. Okay.
And
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 Wasn't
shout
it 2
out
minutes?
there, not on Hard Rock Bets, and shout out to Hard Rock Bets. They pay out quickly.
Oh,
Nice.
Well,
And does the over under end at the regulation, or does it count overtime?
Oh, it counts overtime. It's final
It
score.
does. Okay, so
Yeah,
it missed
yeah.
it by a half point.
Yeah, the total was 47, and the line was 47 and a half. And if you add the two scores together, it was fucking 47.
Yeah.
It was in the gambling world, they call the half point the hook.
Yeah.
And the hook will get you, just like the song says.
Yeah.
hey, you know what
and
else somebody said?
If they would have had to kick the extra point, the over would have gotten it.
Exactly. Yeah. And San Francisco would have won, but
San Francisco would have won if the kicker had made that extra point, not kicked
Yeah.
it right into the back of his, or kicked it so low.
yeah. Well, yeah.
But Kev said something last week. It always comes down to the kicker.
It
It
does. It does.
It
It
does.
always comes. And if you took kicker, I mean, you got Moody, or Butker Automatica.
So-
Butker, he's on my fantasy team, dog, and he will
Yep.
be on my fantasy team next year. I might pick
Yep.
him with the first fucking pick because that dude wins fucking games. Everybody laughed at me this year where I picked a kicker in the 3rd round, and I picked Josh Allen in the 2nd round after I picked Deebo Samuel. Okay. All 3 of those clowns were in the fucking playoffs. 2 were in
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Harrison Butker because, in my opinion, he should have won the MVP.
Yep. I don't.
So-
He made a couple really difficult kicks, for sure.
He had 53 maybe more percent, 53% at least of the points.
He kicked the longest field goal in Super Bowl history at 57 yards.
Yep.
You know, that should have been a motherfucking prop right there.
Without
You know?
Harrison Butker, the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl.
Nope.
Right.
He's the MVP. But because the NFL is the way the NFL is, it's always going to be typically, unless you're Ray Lewis or unless you're, an outstanding defensive player, it's going to go to a quarterback or an offensive player.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that coin, though, you're not in the Super Bowl either without Mahomes. You know, I mean, if you have fucking Justin Fields playing quarterback for the Chiefs, they're not winning.
There's another valuable point that you said, because if you watch any of the talk shows after the day after the Super Bowl, the whole Brock Purdy conversation came up, and it was, what kind of quarterback is Brock Purdy? Did he have a good game? He did have a good game. He didn't turn the ball over. He did well. He did a good job for San Francisco. But if you look at Brock Purdy and you ranked Brock Purdy on NFC quarterbacks, where is he? Fantasy, he's a decent quarterback for fantasy. But in NFC quarterbacks, is he a top 5 NFC quarterback? Probably not.
Why
Probably
not?
not.
Why not?
Because if you take Brock Purdy out of San Francisco and you put him in another team, he doesn't go to the Super Bowl.
Well,
I mean,
all right.
you
All
could
right,
say that about a lot of different quarterbacks.
You could.
I'm going to defend Brock Purdy here for a second. Now,
What?
do I think he should be anywhere in vicinity of anything called MVP? No. Okay, but in 1999, let me ask you guys a question. Here's a little NFL history for you. Okay, in 1999, at the beginning of the season, the beginning of the preseason, who was the starting quarterback for the St. Louis Rams?
Oh,
In
it was
1999?
Trent Green.
It was a guy named Trent Green, and he got hurt in the preseason, right?
Yep.
And so they had to start a guy named Kurt Warner.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, Kurt Warner was very green. He'd been in the Arena League. You know, he was a decent quarterback in college. But, you know, no one knew who this guy was, and everybody's crushed because St. Louis had this, you know, great offensive juggernaut and this unknown guy named Kurt Warner. The only reason that they didn't give him shit, and he was a game manager, he was a drop back passer, just like most of the quarterbacks then were. And
Sure.
they didn't give him shit because he looked like everybody else.
Right.
Well, now, fast forward to 2023, 2024, and a lot of the quarterbacks are these athletic types like Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence to a degree. You know, they could even Baker Mayfield could get out of trouble with his legs. You know, Tua. I mean, the majority of the quarterbacks are mobile now, and Brock Purdy just doesn't look like them. He looks like the Dan Marino type, John Elway type, you know, quarterback. I mean, he's built a lot like Harbaugh was. You know, he's built a lot like Jim Harbaugh. And I think people are giving him shit because he doesn't look like the other guys. And, you know, does he have great pieces around him? Absolutely. If the Jaguars had Christian McCaffrey, I mean, we would, you know, we'd win all kinds of stuff. But you know, he just doesn't look like the Mahomes that can, you know, when they were driving there in overtime, I'm just like, watch, Mahomes is going to take this over. He's just going to run this ball, and they're going to get the first down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he did it like 3 times in the fourth quarter in overtime. So, you know, can Purdy do that? No. Is he horrible on his legs? No, but he's not Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
He's not.
You know, type
He's a
thing.
smart quarterback. He does extend some plays when he needs to. He did a good job in the playoffs. Do I think he's a top 5 quarterback? I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, statistically speaking, he is.
But stat on paper is one thing.
Do wins count? I mean, he went to the Super Bowl and he beat some pretty
apparently
good
not.
teams to get there.
Apparently, they don't count because if wins count, they would have won the Super Bowl, but they didn't.
So he makes the Super Bowl and loses it. That makes him a what? You're saying he's not even a top 5 quarterback in the NFC because he
Okay.
lost the Super Bowl to the
So
number
let
one
me ask you a
quarterback?
question. What play did they call? What's the name of the play that you call that you throw a ball 60 yards in the play, it bounces off the guy's face mask, he catches it, and he goes in and he gets down at the 1 yard line. What play? What's the name of the play that you called that in the huddle?
Well, actually, I'm going to guess that what do they call that route? Post.
There's a post route, yeah.
So
That was
he
a
just
post
said, go out, run a post play. I'm going to throw it up there. It's going to bounce off the guy's face mask. We're going to catch it. We're going to get on the 1 yard line.
So,
And then we're
so
going to
your
score a
argument
touchdown.
is because one time he had a receiver make an athletic play that was lucky, and that somehow makes him lower than a top 5 quarterback in the NFC?
I'm saying because of that
It's
play,
his second
they
year
won.
in the NFL. He had the
Because
highest
of Brandon,
QB
I'm
rating
saying
in the
because
league.
of that play, they won the game. If not for that game, San Francisco is not in the Super Bowl.
Oh man, you can make that argument about more than one play. About
No, I can't make
everything.
that argument. I will make that argument.
No, I'm
Because-
saying you can make that argument about, you could pick any number of plays during the Super Bowl and say the same thing, couldn't you? Well, if Mahomes
Absolutely.
hadn't completed that pass on that last play where they scored a touchdown, they might not have won the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. If
So
the
you're
guy
saying,
didn't
okay,
miss
I'm
the
gonna
extra
pick one
point, San
play out of
Francisco wins the
entire
game.
season. I'm going to pick one play out of the entire season and say, well, because of that play, Brock Purdy's not a number one, or not. He's not even in the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC because of that one lucky play. It's
All right.
not
Statistically,
besides the
if you
fact-
want to play stats, what were the statistics, Mr. AWS, on how much that guy was going to catch that ball?
It doesn't matter. I'm saying over the course of the entire season, he had the highest QB rating out of any of the quarterbacks.
But it does matter
And this
because
is his
if not for
second year
that
in the
play,
league.
they wouldn't have
Can you
been
name
in the
another
Super Bowl.
quarterback? Name another quarterback in his second year in the league. Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is Roethlisberger.
And those are the only others that I can think of. Tom Brady, I guess.
Kurt
Yeah.
Warner.
Kurt Warner, boy, that's a pretty good number. Those are some pretty good names to be around.
Hey,
Sure.
I've got the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL here. Do you want to know who they are?
Oh, well, I'm
Yep.
sure Brock Purdy's not even in there, right?
Okay, this is by NFL.com, by the way.
Are we
Okay.
going off of statistics? Are we going off a QBR rating? What are we going off of?
Both.
Overall
Yeah,
popularity.
I mean, these are the stats that are going. How many games they played, their pass completion percentage, their pass yards, their
Okay.
yards per attempt, their pass TDs, how many interceptions, how many, if they have any rush yards, if they have fumbles.
Lay it on me. I love
Okay.
lists. So let's
think-
lay
yeah.
top 10.
So who? Okay, well, you want me to go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Go
No,
down.
1 to 10.
Okay,
Go-
number 10 is Kirk Cousins.
Okay. And he got
Okay.
hurt.
Blew his Achilles.
Number 9. You ready for this one?
Yep.
This will start some shit.
It's already started.
Hang on, this thing is refreshing on me. Number 9 is Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
What?
That
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Number 8 is a rookie. His name is CJ Stroud.
Yep.
Now, see, I thought he's a top 5 quarterback, or was last year, I think.
Number 7 is Brock Purdy.
That's
Okay.
that is an interesting list so far.
Okay. Number 6, and I think this is well deserved, is Jared Goff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 5, and how this guy isn't number 1 because of his pass yards, is Tua Tagovailoa.
That's interesting.
I mean,
He had a bajillion pass yards.
just
yeah.
with the fucking yards that he threw to Tyreek Hill. You know?
Yeah.
Who won Offensive Player of the Year, by the way, didn't he?
Tua?
Yeah, didn't Tyreek Hill win it because he didn't get MVP? He should have. Number 4 is, and this I agree with this too, with the amount of pass yards that this dude had fucking 4,000 pass yards. Matt Stafford.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a good year.
This guy, in my opinion, You could Patrick Mahomes me up and down the
Josh Allen.
motherfucking road, but this guy's the best quarterback
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
fucking NFL is Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2
Lamar.
is the most overrated motherfucking quarterback
Dak
in the NFL.
Dak
I love the guy because he's SEC. He wore 15 because of Tebow at Mississippi State, but Dak Prescott, give me a motherfucking break.
So Dak Prescott, and then Lamar's number 1.
Number 1, straight out of Clemson, is you love him, is Trevor Lawrence. I'm just kidding. Number 1 is Lamar. This dude, listen to this shit, okay? 67.2 completion rate on a run-first quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
right? 3,700 passing yards, okay? 8 yards per attempt, right? 20 pass TDs, 7 interceptions, 821 rushing yards, right? I know running backs that don't have, you know, and then
That's
5
right
rushing TDs, but he did have 11 fumbles. And this is only his 6th year. That's when they start hitting their stride, So this guy's going to have Baltimore. Now, to put that into perspective, King Prescott over here with the fucking Cowboys. Number 1, and for our one of our commenters, I don't see Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, or Mason Rudolph anywhere on this fucking list.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time before a Pittsburgh quarterback.
Well, let me ask you this, Kev. How many NFC quarterbacks are in front of Brock Purdy on that list?
Okay, you got Prescott.
1.
Yep.
He's in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
You have Matthew Stafford.
2.
Yep.
You have Jared Goff.
Yep.
3.
And then Purdy. So he's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I would put 2 more in front of him.
Who else
would
would
you
you put?
put?
From?
I would put Jalen Hurts, had an off year. So I would put Jalen Hurts in front of him. And this is hard for me to say, but honestly, Jordan Love had a hell of a year.
He was actually number 11 on this list.
I would put Jordan Love.
Of course you would.
In front
Jordan
of
Love.
in front of Brock Purdy. For what Jordan Love did with the Packers.
How long has Jordan Love been in the league?
3 years.
He's been in there 3 or 4 years.
I thought this was his 3rd.
But
maybe
this
4th
is his if you want to say it, this is his rookie season playing.
So based on what
metric
metric would you put them in front of Brock Purdy? Give me a reason you would.
Off of what Jordan Love did with the players that he had.
Just tell me, by what metric should he go in front of Brock Purdy?
I just did. What Jordan Love did with what the players he had.
Okay. And they lost.
So did Brock Purdy.
Can you tell me who they lost to?
Can I tell you who the Packers lost to?
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost. They got Brock Purdy had a very lucky play, and the Packers lost the game. Yeah,
had a lucky play against Green Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who engineered the winning drive in that game? Was that Brock Purdy or was that the backup quarterback?
Well, it's actually Kyle Shanahan because he calls the plays.
I see. You can't give any credit to the quarterback because you don't like him, right?
No, it's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like Brock Purdy.
I love the Green Bay Packers, so I'm picking Jordan Love.
I don't love the Green Bay Packers.
Even though he lost,
as you
Brock
can see
Purdy.
behind me, there's a Brian Urlacher jersey on my wall, so I don't love the Green Bay Packers. I give the credit where credit's due.
You do talk pretty amorously about them sometimes.
Well, I've watched them all my life play the Bears, so I know them just as well.
Packers. I'm just saying.
Coming from a guy who runs his mouth about Oklahoma every chance that he can.
You guys bring Oklahoma up more than I do on this show.
So if you had a chance, if you had a chance to defend Sam Bradford as much as you could, you'd do it as well as you could.
No, he was a terrible NFL quarterback. And I would never, and I have never said that Sam Bradford was better than Tim Tebow.
That's bullshit. I will pull the clips from the previous
career of Tim Tebow was better than Sam Bradford's. 100%.
Anyway, it's not that I don't like Brock Purdy. I just think that there's 5 better quarterbacks than him. I think if you take away
by what metric? You can't just say, "Oh well."
By the players on the field.
Oh, okay.
Okay, who does he have on the field with him, Brandon?
Who?
You tell me who?
Jordan Love?
Brock
He's got
Purdy.
Well, he's got McCaffrey.
Yep.
he's got
Who had
Deebo
how many
Samuel.
yards this year?
He had a lot of yards, but he's
He
running.
had 1,000 yards rushing, and how many receiving did he have?
He had more rushing yards than that, didn't he?
He had at least 1,000 yards rushing because he was an MVP candidate, and he probably had damn near 1,000 receiving. He had 4 people that had 1,000 yards on their team. Kittle had 1,000, Ayuk had 1,000, and Deebo Samuel had 1,000.
And who's throwing them the ball? Just curious.
Purdy.
Who's throwing the ball? Okay.
Yeah, Purdy's throwing him the ball, and he's
Somebody's
handing
got-
off the
somebody's
ball to
gotta deliver it.
McCaffrey.
Somebody's got to deliver the ball to him, right?
Correct. Who's calling the plays? Who's making those plays for him to throw the ball?
McCaffrey had 1459 this year.
So Kyle Shanahan is the mastermind behind the offense, correct?
So, I mean, is the claim that Jordan Love doesn't have a good coach and that he doesn't have good players around him? Is that the claim?
Jordan Love has a great coach. Matt LaFleur.
He also has
Matt
good players
LaFleur
around
has the
him.
youngest team in the NFL. So
Okay.
he's got everybody to do it. But who did Matt LaFleur have? What did they have on the field this year? Who did Jordan Love have to throw to?
I mean,
That guy.
Watson, that guy.
How many games did Watson play this year?
I have no idea.
Did
Maybe
they still
four.
have
Didn't
Randall
watch the
Cobb?
Tigers. Randall Cobb.
No,
They still have
No.
Randall Cobb.
no.
Hey, let me ask you this. Not that this line of questioning isn't riveting. Yeah, you guys can see the comments that people are leaving. But you said Kyle Shanahan was a mastermind.
That was another
Well-
shocker, but
Well, he's the offensive player and by the way, he's got to feel like shit because he's got the comebacks that he lost the 28-3 game where he calls the plays, and obviously he sucks because he's lost the Super Bowl, three times that he's been there.
Well,
He had the biggest comeback, and then he lost last time they played Kansas City, and then he lost this time.
my advice to Mr. Shanahan, I'm sure that his father, who won 2 Super Bowls in Denver, may have told him this, that before you get into the biggest game of the year, perhaps your life, against a team that beat you, 2 years ago, you might want to read the rules to overtime.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, okay, there are different overtime rules for the playoffs than there are the regular season because of that KC Buffalo game a couple of years ago, right?
Sure.
So, and Romo at fucking length went over it. You can't tell me the 49ers don't have somebody watching the TV. Okay? Anyhow.
Right.
So, why, and I know what Shanahan said, but I think it's bullshit. Why would you not, kind of like in college, if everything's equal, why would you not want to take the ball, play defense first if you win the toss? Because even if you score a touchdown, the other team gets a shot.
I didn't hear what Shanahan said. What did he say?
Shanahan said that he took the ball first because if they went down and scored a touchdown and then Mahomes went down and scored a touchdown, kind of like the fourth quarter was going, that he would guarantee himself the ball last.
I didn't think that's why they did it, but
Why did you think they did it?
Well, I think that normal OT during the regular season, yeah, you win the toss, you take the ball.
Right.
Because you can go down and score a touchdown, game over.
well, wait a second. I mean, let's. The only rationale that I thought that made some sense was that didn't the defense just spend a long time on the field prior?
They did.
So wouldn't you want to take the ball to give them a rest? I think Tony
Yeah, but
Romo even mentioned that.
Yeah, but at that point, I mean, you're in the Super Bowl, man. You got to dig deep.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm just saying,
You
as a rationale, I guess your defense might be tired. I don't know.
I think coaching on the San Francisco side of the ball lost that game for San Francisco.
Could have, yeah.
So it could be construed that I'm saying that San Francisco lost rather than KC winning.
Yes.
I mean, they went down and scored. I mean, I don't know. That was a tough one. They did go down and score on that drive, the first drive.
Yeah, they kicked a field goal. Moody got it through.
Yeah.
But I just I don't understand. There are a couple things about the Super Bowl I didn't understand. I didn't understand Shanahan doing that in OT. I was just like screaming at the TV, like why would you not? Did somebody not tell him he doesn't have? Somebody needed to get fired, for not telling him fucking rules. You know what I'm saying? Because even at post game, the players are like, we never discussed overtime. I mean, even I read it last week, Adam Schefter's tweet. They're saying, dude, if that thing would have gone into double overtime, I was going to light Twitter on fire. If that thing would have got, but even the guy from CBS Sports was saying that, in a joking fashion, of course, that the NFL told him it was going to go into double overtime. But, somebody should have gotten fired for that. But I still don't understand why the Niners were favored to win.
I think you were right last week when you said, like, person for person, that's where you saw the advantage.
Well, also, but you got to bring in that it factor too. Yeah. That's what the Chiefs have, is that it factor. They got some swagger, and why you gonna piss them off? But they just went on the road to two very difficult places and won.
They had momentum.
Why would you make those guys an underdog when on the flip side of that coin, San Francisco, had two tough games at home?
It was all written in the stars anyway.
Okay.
Oh, well, then I guess, yeah.
I'm trying to lay off the script bullshit,
What was the score at the end of the first quarter?
3-0
or something. No, it was nothing. Right?
Okay. What was it at the end of the second quarter?
10-0?
10-3?
10-3? 13?
I don't know.
13. 13. What was it at halftime?
Well, that's the end of the second quarter, motherfucker.
Yeah, 10-3.
You're right. Sorry. What was it at third quarter, end of the score?
13-13?
Oh, 13. Whose favorite number is 13?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Did you see her chug her wine?
I want to know out there to many people that are listening to us, if anybody thinks she's actually hot.
Do you know how many plays were on the final drive?
13?
13. 13 plays. That pass was the 13th play. Oh, it's written in the stars. Skip.
Next week on Nailed It with St. Joe, he's going to have Flat Earth fucking Dave on.
Hey, my listens will go up.
It'll be fine. With the birds aren't real people.
It's all good. Hey, do you know how many people? I'll give you a little tidbit here, just to make you. This will be right up the two pennies alley. Do you know how many people think she's hot?
Lots of people.
She's the number one selling, most sought after look-alike sex doll. That's how many people think she's hot. Most requested.
What's a sex doll?
Well, if you want to tune in,
well, hello,
to the you'll find out.
I have a question for you guys. How important did you think the Greenlaw injury was?
I don't think it was that important.
Their best linebacker going down with an Achilles injury wasn't that important?
No.
The guy who took his place got roasted.
Yeah.
The guy who took his place as a substitution.
You need to step up. You're an NFL player. You're there for a reason. You could take any player on any team and you could point out one particular play and say, well, that guy got roasted on any play and make it into a team that loses.
I mean, like the actual statistics was like on 13 or 14 different plays he got roasted. It wasn't just one. It was
you could take any play out of the original year, Brandon, and say, well, that's the reason that it's there.
No, I can actually take the entire season of Jade, or is it Jake or Jade?
Well,
Mr.
good.
Greenlaw.
I'm glad you brought that question up because you wanted Damien wanted to talk about the defenses from last year about or last week about the defenses on who was the best defense of the whose alarm's going off.
Not mine.
Hold that thought for a second because we got exciting news from Ancient City Designs.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Rick and Tony Rosenbaum have a permanent booth at Coconut Barrel in St. Augustine featuring over 200 local vendors. If you don't live in St. Augustine, though, find their stunning affordable pieces available for sale every day at ancientcitydesigns.com with free shipping across the U.S. Though custom orders take about 3 weeks, Rick and Tony keep you updated every step of the way. Returns or exchanges aren't an option, but they're committed to nailing your vision. This husband and wife duo can't wait to craft something special for you. Visit ancientcitydesigns.com or their booth at Coconut Barrel for local treasures and a special discount. Don't miss out. Discover the magic of Ancient City Designs today. Be sure to mention that St. Joe, Beebs, and the Keb sent you. Okay, sorry, St. Joe. Back to you.
Yeah, so he mentioned last week that there was an argument about defense, which he was dead wrong, by the way, too. I do have to say.
Who was dead wrong?
One of our listeners. Dead wrong. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
About the defenses? I thought the defenses played pretty good.
The toughest
for a
defense
while.
throughout the playoffs has been the Kansas City defense.
They were good.
By far. And who they rolled through and the points that they allowed and against them, by far, Kansas City had been the better defense. And I believe I'd have to go back and look that he claimed that San Francisco was the better defense of the two, and statistics pointed it out. And I just want to say that he was wrong.
Well, by the game stat or by the Super Bowl stats, absolutely.
Yeah, they had like allowed 13 points per game.
He was not wrong about the two defenses being good though. They both showed up and played at least for 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter was kind of a no holds bar thing, but for the first 3 quarters, the defenses were the game.
Well, the old adage though is, anybody is number one depending on which stat you look at.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends on what we're looking at. Total defense against teams who give a fuck. I mean, I mean, it depends on what you're looking at. There is breaking news out of Pittsburgh, though, that the Pittsburgh Steelers have lost their motherfucking mind and are talking to Ryan Tannehill.
I saw that.
That is the level of
Wow.
play where we're at in Pittsburgh, and I guarantee you they'll get Ryan Tannehill and they could cut like half their fucking people and they'll still make the motherfucking playoffs.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin.
That's what they do.
Okay, so let's deal with this here for a second. So, one score was 37 points. That started the argument. Did I miss a show?
I don't know.
No, we were talking about what the score was going to predict, and I said like they're going to score 37 points and blah blah blah. And, well, I was only they scored 25, or 22.
Well, in overtime.
Yeah.
Okay, can we get back to talking about the Taylor Swift sex doll?
No,
we're past that.
All right, here's my question about the Taylor Swift thing is,
Okay,
we saw her more than anybody else in the stands.
Yeah.
I felt kind of bad for the other players who were actually at the Super Bowl, who had family in the stands. They didn't get to see usually they pan through the wives, that kind of stuff, but it was all Taylor Swift.
did they fly from Japan to be there?
Oh, well, I mean, maybe. We don't know.
I mean, you saw there were other stars there. You got to see Goldblum. You saw Bieber. You saw
We saw Usher.
Leo. You saw
Not as many times as we saw her, though.
Well, no,
LeBron
but
was
there was also a bet on it. So with Vegas,
fair.
you had to be there for the bet. So there wasn't a bet on how many times to see Bieber. There was a bet on if he was going to sing with Usher.
Well, the two penny made the two penny makes the best point. Is he says it's the NFL making money. He's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
That's 100%. That's 100%.
So we have Usher to thank for Bieber, right?
We do.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
that
he
guy.
found him. Yeah. And there was a lot of people upset that Bieber didn't sing with them. There were a couple prop bets that if Ludacris was going to come out or Lil Jon, Alicia Keys was a leak that she would. People knew she was going to come out. I don't think people would have guessed that her was going to come out and play on a guitar. I don't think a lot of people knew that was actually her.
Was that who that was?
Yeah, but
She's
people
called
knew her
her
from the Nationwide commercial. That one of the girls at the
she can play the guitar though. She can play the guitar.
How about the chick that fell off the stage, the roller skating chick? That's hilarious.
Yeah, did you see that one? And then the guy getting launched into the air.
Yeah,
did you see that one?
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
That was pretty cool. At the halftime show, I don't know. It was okay. It
was all right.
It was okay.
I wasn't.
All right. This will start some shit.
Oh boy.
Okay. You ready? I wasn't going to bring this up, but you guys are talking about a halftime show. So there was, how can I put this to where I don't get shit, but you guys get shit?
You can't. We're going to turn it around on you no matter what.
Are you?
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Did you
Oh, wow,
guys
that's
have...
a good fact. I didn't know that. I like that.
Okay. Her also sang the national anthem NFL games when she was 11. Okay.
I had no idea.
Did you guys, on Twitter, there was a contingent of people that had a problem with singing Lift Every Voice and Sing?
Absolutely. They shouldn't do it. There's one national anthem. We don't need two. One nation under God. That's it. Period.
I didn't call it a national anthem. Then why are we singing America the Beautiful? It's not a national anthem either.
No, it's a complimentary song.
Okay, so why can't Lift Every Voice and Sing be a complimentary song?
No. One nation under God. Period. That's it. Done. All retorts can go to Keb Libs.
I'll ask you this. There was a time frame where I asked whether they even needed to be playing the national anthem at some of these games. I mean,
oh boy.
But I didn't want to say that. I mean, like, it's not required that they sing the national anthem at these games.
Right. I'll pose this, St. Joe.
Yep.
Okay. So let's just say you're in Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
All right. Okay. And number one commenter, ain't no one calling it an anthem. Okay. We're not calling America the Beautiful an anthem or either. Okay. So let's just say you're in Madison Square Garden. You're going to see a New York Rangers game.
Yep.
Okay. And they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they play the Canadian national anthem on U.S. soil. You got a problem with that?
No, because it's hockey. And it's a tradition.
Well, I mean, Canada does host a number of NHL teams. That's my reasoning, I guess.
They do the same thing when at the Raptors, when they host the Toronto Raptors, they do the same thing and they play the Canadian national anthem. But
which is really funny because on the Raptors, there are absolutely zero Canadians on that team.
But that's the whole point. It's they play the Canadian national anthem. They don't play the Canadian God Lift Our Voices because they have two freaking.
My point is, if you're getting all bent out of shape about one song being played, you can't have it both ways. So if you're getting all bent out of shape after Lift Every Voice and Sing is being played, or saying you can't get bent out of shape with America the Beautiful, that's not an anthem either. The Star Spangled Banner is the national anthem.
So if you go to Vancouver, then they should play Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Hiney Ho, because there's Muslims all over the place there. So if that's the place, then that should be it.
I didn't want to get into this, but I'm going there.
Islam's a religion.
I'm going there.
For
Let
the
me ask you a question
and
to any of the commenters or you two and see who gets this right. And the last comment on there, no one's saying that either.
Oh,
we're just saying that America the Beautiful isn't an anthem either. What is the national language of the United States?
Jeez.
English.
Beebs, do you have an answer?
I mean, I'm just dumbfounded by the question. I mean, like, of course it's English. So
English is the most spoken, but the last commenter is right. There isn't one. There isn't an official language to the United States.
Okay. I'll take that. Sure.
Okay.
Well, there should be. There should be.
Well, there should be a lot of things, and fucking, Taylor Swift shouldn't have to wear a shirt.
Just as an aside, Islam is a religion. It's not a national anthem. just wanted to point that out.
Well, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Well,
okay. You know what? I'm gonna send a DM to the guys at FDR, and I'm like, you guys need to get into this shit.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's ridiculous. I think that it was. There was a lot of people. Stephen A. Oh God, we can't put that comment.
Yeah, that. All right. It's getting a little. It's getting a little. The comments.
There was Stephen A. Smith had a comment about this, and he was talking about it, and it's like, I don't know. It's just there just needs to be one. It's a whole political statement. I get it. It's fine, but whatever. It's fine. It is what it is. We're going to be there, and it's going to be fine. And it's like going to a soccer game. They play "God Save the Queen."
At British soccer games.
Okay, number one, it's called "God Save the King" now.
Yeah.
Okay, because the Queen's dead. So there's no.
Did they really change the name?
Yeah,
they change it.
Yeah, it's God Save. It was God Save the King before Queen Elizabeth. Then it was God Save the Queen, and then now it's God Save the King again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, and it's all "My Country 'Tis of Thee," which isn't an anthem.
Okay, well,
but people sing it.
That's fair.
I'm just saying that if you have enough time to bitch about what is sung at the Super Bowl, then you need to get a motherfucking life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other things to bitch about, like what Taylor Swift is wearing, whether Travis Kelce says he loves her, I mean, we could talk about this, and Beebs, I'm sorry, but do you think that she allows Kelce to go down on her? We could go all fucking night.
I mean,
that's great. That takes.
I apologize. I preempted that.
You shouldn't. Why should you apologize? I mean, everybody wants to talk about it. I mean, I think they should leave them alone. Let them live their life.
That's all right.
Let them live their life.
I totally agree with that. You should let them live their life. It's for me, when you brought up the anthem, I still, like I said, I'm not 100% sure that the anthem has to be played at these games. I really am not sure that. I mean, that's where I'm at. So.
I think it kind of relates to the anthem. That I think the proper way that that you're doing it right is if you go down there long enough and you sing the anthem. I think that's the proper time to come back up, isn't it?
Maybe
you're supposed to hum it. Aren't you supposed to hum it when you're doing it?
Maybe you should lift every voice and sing.
You just better hope the Rockets' red glare is not going on.
Wow.
What else?
Okay.
Whoa. You open that door.
Bombs bursting in air.
You open that door, Kip. Now, can you close it?
I know. I can. I got exciting news from Ancient City Designs.
Yeah. All right. So, did you guys, by any chance, flip around the stations and watch any of the Super Bowl on like Nickelodeon or anything like that?
No, but I heard it was awesome.
It was. So I watched one little comment, and they said there's either two things need to happen. The guy that did it either needs to be promoted and do it every time, or he needs to be fired, because it was either you loved it or you just absolutely hated it. I've seen a couple clips of it, and I thought parts of it were good. I don't know about Dora popping up and explaining what a false start was, what holding is,
now,
things like that.
Do you guys know, St. Joe, out of the three of us, I mean, I know because I know everything. But Beebs, do you know where the green slime comes from?
From
why that's a Nickelodeon thing?
Yeah, I watched the show.
Yeah.
What was the name of that show?
You can't do that on television. Sorry. Well, you said it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't give him the fucking answer.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, dude.
Was that the show with his name?
I
Mark
know
something?
with most things you're premature, but give me a fucking break.
It was.
That was a show
yeah.
with the guy Mark. What's his name? Mark on Nickelodeon, right?
Yep.
Mark who?
I can't
The name of
remember
the
what
host.
The name of the
Mark
host was
Summers
Mark.
was
That's
Double
it.
Dare.
That's what I was talking. Double Dare is the name of
Mark
the show.
Summers was Double.
Yeah.
No, the
Who
name of the
was
show is You
the-
Can't Do That on Television. That's where the
Who was the
slide
most
comes
famous person on You Can't Do That on Television?
from.
I
Oh,
don't know
Alanis
that.
Morissette. Don't bring
That's
it
right.
fucking here.
That's
You're
right.
not, dude. I grew up watching Nickelodeon. You Can't Do That on Television. Fucking Pinwheel.
Yeah.
You know, all that bullshit. I could sing the Pinwheel song.
What was her name?
Who?
Alanis Morissette. What was her name on the show?
Ironic. I don't know.
You don't know her name
I
on the
remember
show?
Christina, the big-haired chick.
Her name was Moose.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So you don't know
Things
everything.
you-
Well, I know everything that's worth knowing.
He found something you didn't know, Keb.
Yeah, I know everything that's worth knowing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I can guarantee you the next time guest host spots come around, what St. Joe's Topper's going to be, though.
Yeah, I love that show. That show was great. And what was the name of the show? Oh, well, yeah, you said it, Double Dare. Yeah, you said that. That was a great show.
You know,
too.
he's got like big time OCD.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
watching the documentary on him. Like, he's like on his hands and knees, making sure all of the pieces of his rug are arranged
Yeah, all
correctly.
the tassels.
Yeah,
all the
right.
tassels
He's
are
lucky to be-
straight.
he's
Yeah,
lucky to
I
be
watched the same
alive. He got a-
documentary.
That's
He
how
got
bad
in a
it was.
major car wreck and he's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That guy. That guy's
Double
that
Dare
was
a good ass show,
Nickelodeon.
though.
Yeah, that's great.
That was a great show.
I wonder if you can. I wonder if you could find old episodes of that and stream it because that's a fun one to watch. With your
There
kid.
was a show on I think it started on ESPN or not ESPN, but Nickelodeon called Guts. Did you guys ever watch that show? Global Guts? No,
Mm-mm.
you would have liked
Negative.
it. Kids playing extreme sports to win prizes.
So it's
Interesting.
like the kid version of like Fear Factor.
It was a kid's version of like American Gladiators without the gladiators, I guess.
I thought that
What
was
fun is
American
that?
Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
American Ninja Warrior would be a lot fun if they put shit in the water
like
that they
sharks.
fall in. Yeah, sharks,
Alligator.
alligators, fucking water moccasins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit would be like turn American Ninja Warrior into like the real life Running Man. You know,
Yeah.
where if you don't survive and win $1 million, you die. And just put like convicts in there. And you get this fat grease ball. Hey, you got to fucking hang on. Fucking just watch them get taken out by a bunch of water moccasins. It'd be great.
That was a great movie.
So, we got anything more sports related, or is that the end of it?
I mean, I got plenty of sports related. Guess what happens tomorrow, fellas?
Oh God, pitchers and catchers.
Pitchers and catchers. I mean, the football season was a great commercial.
Yeah.
Great
Okay,
commercial.
so let's talk about that. What was your favorite?
Hang on, we got a
commercial?
question. We got a question here. Without looking, anyone know who are the two worst and two best teams in the NBA? Last place or first place from each conference? Well, I'm pretty sure
I can tell you the West.
Well, the East is either
It's Boston.
is it Boston? I know the Timberwolves are up there too.
It's
right?
Boston and the Clippers.
Okay, who's the worst?
The
in
worst
the East?
the worst in the East. It's going to be like Charlotte.
You know who it's not? It's not the Magic. They're like middle of the pack. They're
Right.
like 28 and
I
24.
want to say
not
I
the-
want to say Charlotte.
It's not the
but-
Bucks.
In the West, I don't know who the
Milwaukee?
worst is in the West.
Yeah, it's not them. Although
I
they
don't know
haven't
who
been
it
a slide since they hired Doc.
So in the West, maybe I don't know who the last place team is. Utah, maybe
The Jazz?
That new
Boston and
new-
Minnesota. It was
Yeah,
Boston,
there you
Minnesota.
go.
I thought
Boston,
the
Minnesota.
Clippers were the number one in the West, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Didn't I say
I'm into
Timberwolves?
college right now. I'm not in the pros more. I'm getting ready for March Madness coming up.
Last place in the Western Conference, I have no idea.
I think
the-
San Antonio.
Detroit and San Antonio.
Oh,
Mm.
the Detroit we should have known that one because they win 27 games without a win, right?
All right.
Wow, that's horrible.
All right. Well, here's a question real quick. Who right now, while we're talking about the NBA, I don't really care about the NBA.
Shaquille O'Neal.
I haven't cared about the NBA since Shaq played.
He's getting his number retired tonight.
Is he
For real?
from Orlando?
The first
From Orlando?
Oh, yeah,
first
that's right.
Orlando
Yeah.
Magic number to get retired.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is the best player in the NBA right now?
That's a good question.
Because I think you could make an argument for like 5 guys.
Jokic.
Yeah.
He's always the best. Sorry. You could make the argument for Antetokounmpo because he's been playing pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Karl Anthony Towns has been playing pretty good too recently.
Although Damian Lillard, since he's come to the Bucks, has been pretty good.
He's been good. I do think it's the Joker because he's the best player. Like the reason he's the best player is because without him, the Nuggets wouldn't be.
Luka.
Yeah, Luka Doncic is he's having a good season too.
So we're past the Giannis game.
No, I think Giannis is the number 2 player right now. I think he's just behind Jokic, and he has.
Remember, like 3 years ago, no one could say another fucking player.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah.
That's because a couple years ago he was the standard.
Yeah.
So nobody likes James Harden anymore.
No.
No, do the Joker.
Nobody likes LeBron. Nobody likes. No.
LeBron's past it.
Yeah, way past it.
I mean, he's still good. I'm not saying he's not good, but
he's hanging out so he can play with his son.
Right. His days of where, I'm going to take a team to the NBA Finals might be over.
Yeah.
So somebody else on that team is going to have to drag him through the playoffs because I don't think he's going to do it.
No.
You might see Golden State make a run. They're not good right now, but Curry, he can score points fast, and that could drag you through a series. But right now they're not very good.
No.
So who do you think is going to win the NBA championship?
I think, that's a crazy one.
I guarantee you, once baseball season starts, we're not going to talk about the NBA anymore.
I don't think it's going to be the Nuggets.
I think the Nuggets could win it again. Absolutely, I do. There's three or four teams that could win it actually right now. I think the Clippers are good. Minnesota's good, but they never seem to be able to play in the playoffs. But
I think the Clippers are playing Minnesota tonight.
But Boston is good. Boston's really good. So I think they could win it.
Celtics. I think Celtics are a good bet. Celtics are pretty good.
I think the two pennies bringing the heat tonight. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, Celtics are pretty good.
Well, before I forget, because I didn't have one last week, we got a stupid sport of the week. But
wait, what about the commercials? What was your favorite commercial of the Super Bowl?
Right. Well, we're talking about the NBA now.
Well, then
we're past the motherfucking Super Bowl.
No.
Okay. I thought my favorite commercial was the Christopher Walken.
Okay, the Walk-In with Walken.
Yeah, that was my favorite commercial.
That was a good one. Yeah.
My least favorite commercial was how many motherfucking Temu ads do we fucking need?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
You know.
Yeah.
I thought the Schwarzenegger State Farm commercial was funny.
Okay.
And I thought that the Ben Affleck
Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Dunkin'
That's the
Donuts
one I was going to
commercial
say.
was
I think hands down that was the best commercial of the Super Bowl.
The return of the Budweiser horses was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. And Budweiser needed something to come back, but I think by far and that wasn't the only commercial for Dunkin'. There's more like online. There's continuation ones, but I think hands down that was probably the winning commercial.
You know what else was cool was the return, and I know people will laugh at this, but the return of the Coors Light train. That was the
Silver Bullet.
The Silver Bullet train was that was kind of nice to see. I think that was a good harken back for them. I mean, no, doesn't matter what you feel about Bud Light. That was a smart move, I think, on them for them.
Coors Light.
I was surprised. Jesus had a little bit of money.
Oh, it's Coors Light. It's not Bud Light,
dude. Okay, with the Jesus commercials. Okay, so
first don't bring it up. Please don't bring it up.
Okay, so
please do not bring it up.
You know, the second one, I'm like, I look over and I'm like, if this is another fucking Jesus commercial, you know, and I mean, these commercials are $1 million minimum.
Oh,
Right.
30 million was I think it was the 30-second one was like 7 million, I think.
Yeah. So these.
Oh Jesus, this is a great comment. Let's put that up there. That's a good one. I like that.
So you've got these commercials where a Catholic priest is washing the feet of another guy that Catholic priests typically don't get along with for some odd reason.
Well,
they're just people, in my
no,
opinion. And that
okay,
was the
all right.
purpose of the commercial. You can't say that the church doesn't have money because it just paid, how much you say? $7 million.
Yeah.
The He Gets Us campaign is not run by a church.
Okay, well, it's run by some sort of religious organization, yes?
Have you ever looked it up?
Well, it's not. I'll tell you who's not backing it. The fucking Westboro Baptist Church isn't backing it.
You know, you cannot. I cannot tell you the number of arguments evangelical Christians are having about those commercials. It's absurd. So I was just kind of. It's interesting that you brought it up. How the number of podcasts and Facebook posts about those commercials, I just kind of laughed at. But
why? Why are they having arguments about it?
Oh, they're like, well, Jesus would never have actually condoned this, or that's too tolerant. I'm like, too tolerant? Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm with that conversation. So it politicized religion in a way that I don't think the commercial was intending. So let's just put it that way.
Spreading the word, getting them out there.
Sure, that was kind of the point, wasn't it? I mean, that was the point of the commercial, wasn't it?
Sure.
It wasn't to spark a debate about whether you thought it was the right thing, whether it was theologically sound or something. It was more of, hey, we should serve each other and we should go and help people. That was kind of the idea I thought of the commercial, but there's large, stark controversies about it. I was a little shocked by. So
it's a big day coming up. They were celebrating a big day.
Right. Yeah.
What big day?
Tomorrow.
Holy Thursday.
What?
Yeah, Holy Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's Ash Wednesday tomorrow. Didn't you know that?
It's motherfucking Valentine's Day tomorrow.
And Ash Wednesday.
And it's Ash Wednesday tomorrow, too.
Which will be an interesting mixture of things.
That's right.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're watching us on YouTube or you're listening to us on Wednesday, you should click over after this and listen to the Stupid History Minute and see what's in store, because this is the first anonymous episode.
Oh boy!
Oh boy!
Here we go.
The title is a bunch of question marks.
Yeah. Oh boy!
So now that we talked about the commercials, I do have a feel good thing to talk about.
Oh. Is it the Jesus commercial?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like, if you guys want to have a debate about the Jesus commercial, well, we probably are all on the same page on that one. But
the commenter, though, has a point where because of the Jesus commercial, say Joe brought up the Bible, and and on the Bible it said he rested on the seventh day, and the Sabbath is Sunday, and everybody thinks that's Sunday, but the seventh day is actually Saturday because the first day of the fucking week is Sunday.
That's right.
Glad we could do that.
I'm just saying. But I digress.
So here's a feel-good story for you guys. It didn't happen last week, but it was on my timeline last week. So I thought I would share it. But 1 year before the last Summer Olympics, and the next Summer Olympics is this year, right? St. Joe, you're going, right?
Correct.
You're going to go see our favorite person, in the trampoline.
Dong.
Anyway, so 1 year before the Olympics, a weightlifter...
How about that dong? I think Taylor Swift is going to be there.
Jeez.
Keep going.
I can't finish now.
Go ahead.
All right. 1 year before the Olympics, a man named Matthias Steiner, who is a weightlifter in the heavyweight weightlifting sport in the Olympics, lost his wife in a tragic car accident. Before she passed away, he promised her that he would win a gold medal in her honor. In the actual final of the weightlifting competition, he fouled. You guys are killing me. He actually fouled on the winning lift, which means he had one more opportunity to win. And and his opponent actually was able to lift the weight that he was not able to. So on his last lift, he added, I think you're allowed to add a couple kilograms. I don't know exactly how they add weight on the weightlifting, but he added a couple kilograms on, and he was able to lift the weight. And watching his celebration afterwards, because he's, just watching the celebration in the Olympics, especially after someone wins, but because of how heavy the moment was, it was just a very special thing to watch for him to win the Olympic gold medal after he had lost his wife that year before the Olympics. So there you go, Matthias Steiner. Thank you for sharing that with the world.
That's a good story. I do want to, you brought up the Olympics, and I do want to mention to a commenter that we don't take much seriously on this program. One thing we do seriously is you do not desecrate the name of our favorite trampoliner. It's Dong Dong. Fucking put some respect on his motherfucking name.
He's from China.
It's Dong Dong.
He's
St. Joe.
He's from Bangkok.
St. Joe loves the Dong Dong.
That's right. That's right. I love the Dong Dong.
St. Joe, did you have any drama this week?
No, my prop bet didn't happen at the proposal. Although they were very smitten with each other on the field. It didn't happen. I thought for sure that Travis was going to propose at the end of the game there if they won, but no. It's coming. It's coming.
Alas, he did not.
I think she's gonna break up with him now.
No.
So she can sing about it.
Well, that and then the season's over. Now Travis is gonna follow her around the world like a fucking puppy dog. Going to all of her shows because she went to all of his games, and they're just gonna get tired of each other. And then she's gonna come out with a
Sure.
An album. What's your, speaking about nothing else going on now? What about this whole USFL shit?
Well, the USFL merged with the XFL. It's called the UFL now.
Okay, what about this thing that's coming on? What about this?
I don't know.
The Rocks League.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be worth anything? You think it's
Let me ask you this: in his life, what has The Rock failed at?
Football.
Played at a major university.
Well, for a little bit, yeah. But you're right. He's done well at a lot of things, but
it's arguably on the Mount Rushmore of
wrestling. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a above average actor. Been in some cool action movies. You know what I'm saying? So why not give him the benefit of the doubt that he can make a spring football league relevant?
I'm
just curious.
He was also, the voiceover for Maui in one of the most important Disney films ever made.
And he's going to be the live action too.
Mm-hmm. That is matter of that. You're speaking your opinion as fact again. You okay? Moana is not an important Disney movie. Okay. All right.
I haven't seen Moana, but I have seen Moana.
There's the one.
Whatever. And it's nowhere near as good as Aladdin. Nowhere near as good as the most important Disney movie ever, not named a Star Wars movie.
What? Okay, now you're talking about. What did you think about the Daredevil trailer? You were all hyped up about it.
Deadpool.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I liked it. In fact, I'm looking forward to the movie now.
Yeah, I thought it was bullshit on there that you had to go to see the full trailer at at the website, but after the game, I'm like, okay, I'm sitting back, finishing my beer and kicking on the YouTube and that lo and behold, I thought it was good. I think if you haven't watched Loki, you're not going to understand it because it has him going into the TVA. So if you haven't seen Loki, which is an above average Marvel show on Disney Plus, you're not going to get it. Yeah, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is the TVA?
So since we're a sports podcast,
yeah.
What is the stupid sport of the week?
Well, okay, so somebody they forwarded this to me.
Okay.
And I don't think it's a stupid sport. Okay? And St. Joe's going to get a kick out of this because this is straight out the 80s. Okay?
Nice.
But I have a friend named Eric who actually participates in this sport around the corner from here.
Is it roller derby?
Yeah, it's roller derby. And I've actually gone and watched, and it's actually kind of fun. But the stupid sport of the week is roller derby, often brushed off as a relic of the past, has a vibrant history and thriving modern revival. Originated in the 1930s as a form of endurance skating, roller derby, which Usher is probably pretty good at. Gained popularity in the 1970s, which is theatrical, punk-inspired aesthetic. After a decline in the 1980s, roller derby experienced a resurgence in the early 2000s, fueled by grassroots organization in a DIY spirit. Modern roller derby emphasizes athleticism, strategy, and inclusivity with diverse leagues and teams worldwide. It's a blend of speed, skill, and spectacle. Continues to attract a dedicated fan base, proving that roller derby is far from outdated and is, in fact, thriving in the present day. That's roller derby. If you've never seen it live, it's pretty good live.
Yeah.
On TV, it was on TV at times. You can watch. I can't remember what channel. Maybe TNT. I remember watching it as a kid thinking, wow, this is insane.
Well, now they don't. You remember, like in the 80s or whatever, they would play it with like the ramp. You know, they don't. They just do it like on a regular rink now.
Yeah,
like a flat rink. Yeah, because they do it down here at Quarry Road, which is off of San Jose Boulevard. It's a major thoroughfare here in Jacksonville.
Yes.
And growing up, it's called Skate Road 13, but now it's called like Skating Space or some shit like that. And but you go down there, it's free to get in. They allow you to bring like a cooler of beer in with you. The fucking people who are skating are chugging beers. Which is awesome. And they're all tatted up. They talk about inclusivity. I mean, there's co-ed teams, and you got like fucking guys just trashing women. Totally illegal. And they like slingshot people to the front. Now, if you're trying to follow along on how they score, no one really knows, including the people who are fucking skating. They don't know how you score.
So, at the beginning of the ceremony, do they sing 2 national anthems?
They actually have 4. So what they do is they sing "Lift Every Voice and Sing," and then they sing "America the Beautiful." But between that and the Star Spangled Banner, they actually play "Basket Case" by Green Day.
Perfect. Perfect.
So did either of you keep tabs on the Waste Management Open?
Yeah, that thing's gone off the fucking rails.
Yeah, so they had to suspend beer sales at the end of, I think it was the 3rd round because people were doing snow angels in the bunkers.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Okay, so I think that the Waste Management Open is very aptly titled.
Yeah.
Because this motherfucker is a dumpster fire. Okay. And we were talking about this, me and the soon-to-be world-famous wife, because, we got the players coming up here. And she's like, well, why don't they do that at 17? I was like, because the people at the players respect the tournament. I mean,
absolutely.
here they respect the tournament. You're not going to see that shit. Like, could you imagine fucking hole 16 at Augusta, that par 3, you know, when fucking Tiger fucking drains that fucking chip from off the green that he did that one time, and then the fucking place goes ape shit and they start throwing like pimento cheese sandwiches on the fucking green and shit, or whatever they do there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the waste.
Sorry, it's the Phoenix Open. That's absolutely correct. The Two Penny podcast you know, he just called us out. He's absolutely right. It's the Phoenix Open.
Okay, but it's sponsored by Waste Management, yes?
Yeah. I just called it the Waste Management Open because that's, you know, anyway.
Well, those motherfuckers out there. And then like hole 16, it was cool. Like when they brought that robot out, you know, and the robot made a hole in one.
Yeah.
You know, it was cool. The only cool thing that I thought, you know, because in Augusta, they call them the patrons. Here, they call them, you know, fucking Ponte Vedra people. You know, there they call them fucking idiots. The only cool thing is one of those guys called out fucking Zach. What's his fucking
Johnson.
last name? Zach Johnson. They called him out for being an asshole and called him an asshole because he is. You know, I mean.
And then he showed him.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, so.
Yeah, it was fun. I loved to see the crowd, though. Like, at one time, there must have been 20 people that were dressed up like Canadian Mounties. And you know, it's just they're all sitting there in the row.
If you're going to people watch,
it's insane.
That's probably the place to be. If you're into people watching and don't care much about golf, that's probably the place to be.
Like I used to bitch about the players that you go there and no one watches the golf is almost secondary, you know, to the party. You know, I will never bitch about the players again.
You gotta see this on TikTok. They had a thing where you collect all the cups and you make this giant line of all the empty cups. They had this line that must have been 500 feet long. People were holding it up, you know, doing this from the front of the crowd to the back, and they're doing it. People do it in baseball all the time too in the stadiums. And they had this whole thing. And you have to look this up because it's hilarious. People are the cup snake. That's exactly what it was. And they have there's people throwing other parts of things, and you see people just getting drilled in the head with other people throwing cups at them, and they're like boom, 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 and it's hilarious on TikTok to see it. The thing was giant. It was awesome. It was hilarious, and just drunk people on top of drunk people, and there was. And then somebody had a football they were throwing to people, and I forget who it was. He actually punted it pretty good and back up to the guy. It's a spectacle for sure.
Does anybody actually know who won the fucking golf tournament?
I have no idea.
Our golf correspondent.
And I usually check in on that tournament, but this year was just so crazy that
I know it wasn't Scotty Scheffler. I think he's still probably number one.
That's a good bet. Like, who won? If you don't know, just say Scheffler.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the Two Penny could help us out.
He's got to have. There was a stat they showed, which I think was Nick Taylor was leading for a long time.
You know what, St. Joe? Go ahead. Yeah. I'm sorry.
There was a stat they showed, which I thought was phenomenal, that in order for Scotty Scheffler to beat Tiger's ranking of holding like the number one slot for whatever, he'd have to be there till like 2037. Right. Like, it was some crazy stat.
Well, in Riviera this week, I believe I saw Tiger playing a practice round.
Yes, right. That's right. He's prepping for his first tournament of the year, right?
He's gonna play one a month, and this is February, and then next month will be the Players, and then the Masters, and so on.
Well, and then Bay Hill's
that means I got to get a ticket to go to the Players.
Bay Hill comes up.
You can volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
You could. Well, no, it's closed now.
It's closed now. I think I'd be okay just settling for a regular general admission ticket.
Yeah. The Genesis Open, that's what it's called. It's at Riviera. Though.
At Riviera, yeah.
One thing I do want to talk about real quick, because there's some local flair to it, and just to piss off one of our commenters, the Daytona 500 is this weekend.
Yes, it is.
That is the Super Bowl of NASCAR racing. And do you guys have a favorite driver?
Dale Earnhardt.
He died in 2001.
Damn. I guess
Who
he's
the
not going to win.
Is this year? Is that what you asked?
What?
Did you ask who the favorite is this year?
No, I asked, do you have a favorite driver?
Oh, no, I don't.
I haven't followed it for years.
Just because his team is owned by Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, I like Bubba Wallace. Sooner or later that dude's going to win something.
Lift every voice. Yeah.
You have deep-seated issues.
I do.
That you need to get. You should get that looked at.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple podcasts at unfpod.com that can help you out. First off, you need to check out Hypno Wellness. She can hypnotize your shit, so you stop saying, shit like that. Okay. then on Thursdays, you need to find your motherfucking way.
Actually, he did. He's on my show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going on Finding Your Way on Thursday?
We're talking about Lent. We're talking
right.
about.
You're not going to talk
Ash
about the
Wednesday?
Jesus commercials at Super Bowl?
That may come up next week. I don't know. It may come up next week because I got to tell you, I had a lot of people. I was like, "Come on, folks, don't you get the point of the commercial? No, we're going to have this huge theological debate about what it should have been and why it wasn't right and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, they were just trying to get people anyway to notice. So I don't think they really were too worried about whether it was theologically sound or not. So, but
Anyhow, I do want to announce, because by the time this comes out, and we'll have an announcement tomorrow, but we'll be the first, that we have a new member of Unfiltered Studios podcast network.
Ring the bell.
Yeah. I mean, this is the official announcement, and it'll be on Twitter and social media tomorrow. But a program called Matt and Friends Drink the Universe, which is a great name. A great name. If you're into craft brew and you're into, they record live on location from craft breweries.
It's a good pod.
I thought it was really interesting. But I mean, if you're not into craft brew, you'd probably be like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" But it is a very, very, very good program. We're very excited to have him aboard here at Unfiltered Studios. And you should check out all the other podcasts over at unfpod.com. You find these two gentlemen. You find some history. I mean, if self-help is what you're fucking into,
got a lot of it.
Dude, we got it. And we did, since last week, too, 12th Street Talkback has joined us, right?
Yeah.
And,
welcome. She's fabulous.
Welcome,
yes.
Victoria. Over there. And if you need a pick me up in the morning, and Beebs isn't available, she's available 3 times a week.
Yeah, we got a lot of multiple podcast weekly.
Well, yeah. Now we got, 2, dare I say, faith-based podcasts. 2, you know what we're still looking for? If you're out there and listening,
true crime.
Seriously, we need a true crime.
There's only 800,000 of them. You think we would be able to get one?
I'm going to tell you this: if we do not have a true crime podcast by June 1st, I'm going to start a podcast called "Serial Killers: Are They Really That Bad?"
That's right.
That's right. Or the Serial Killer Minute.
Something.
It should be called the euthanasia. The euthanasia serial killer.
And we're not talking about little boys in China. Euthanasia.
What was the baseball bat's name again?
We're talking about killing
Lucille.
people. We're talking about killing people. Everybody's doing it. Turn on the news. Everybody's doing it.
If you strangle somebody, is that called laying on hands? Remember that conversation?
Mm-hmm. I do.
I'm just saying that if you fucking suffocate somebody with a pillow,
right?
does that count?
Right.
You know, I just don't understand why it has to be. You know, we could kill people, but it's got to be. You know, like when they give people lethal injection, but they like swab their fucking arm with alcohol. I mean, what the fuck?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What, you can give them an infection?
Right.
You know, I mean, the humane. That's the word I was looking for. Everything's got to be fucking humane. Just fucking take him out in the middle of fucking Bay Street and fucking shoot him in the back of the head. I mean, how much does a bullet cost? You know what I'm saying? Give them one appeal. If the appeal doesn't go, just fucking grab their hair. Okay, you don't have to shave their head like you did the electric chair. Just grab their hair and be like, hey, stop squirming. You know, and just bam.
You've thought about this way too much.
I mean, you ever have
or
those
you've done
thoughts,
it.
You ever
one
have
or
those
the other.
thoughts to where you're like looking across the table? Before I met the soon-to-be world-famous wife, I fucking dated this crazy woman, right? And you're looking across the table, and she's just talking, and after a while, you just fucking it just fucking drowns out. You know, I know the two penny knows what I'm talking about, and you see her mouth moving, and you're just like it's not registering what, and then you have this thought, and she's eating like a fucking soup or something. You have this thought, if I just took in my hand and grabbed her head and put it down in that soup.
Well, that's it for the Unfiltered Sports Weekly.
Jesus.
You got any more for us, St. Joe?
Wow. Good way to end that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, nothing else.
I'm not the only person that has thoughts like that. I'm not.
Okay.
Wow, the voices. Don't listen to the voices. Don't listen to the voices, Kev. Don't listen to the voices.
All right, before I get into some more trouble, oh yeah, look at that.
That's a great quote.
That's a great quote right there. Killer ending. All right, go and check out all the other podcasts over at unfpod.com. Check out our new friends, and if you're looking for a podcast home, we got space for you, especially if you're true crime. St. Joe, roll out the fucking red carpet for you.
I will. I will.
And all this, But we don't just take anybody, so you kind of got to have something to say. You got to keep Beebs like enthralled. Because if he turns you off, especially like if your audio is bad, then he's gonna have you and Beebs are gonna have a discussion. So. So, anyhow, hope everybody enjoyed the Super Bowl and the commercials and all that good stuff. And be kind to one another out there. I mean, don't go forcing your thoughts on other people unless they ask for it. And be kind to one another, love one another, wash each other's feet. And for St. Joe, for the Beebs, my name's Kim. We'll catch you guys next week.
We'll catch you on the flippity flop.